All right. I've showed this car a couple times before, and I've already talked about it. But this is everything. This is the long list of things wrong with this DeVille. It's currently not. First of all, it's currently not operable. It's in non-driving condition. It runs, but the transmission's broken. It does not shift anymore. First of all, before I actually get into all that, a little bit of background on this car. This was my very first car. Honestly, I didn't get it all that long ago. It was our family sedan. This car has been all over the country. Well, all over the South. It's been Georgia, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It's been up to Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, Alabama multiple times. I think my parents took it to Texas once. I believe they brought it to Texas one time, but I could be wrong on that. I'll explain the Buick Rim in a minute. But anyway, as I was saying, now that you've got a little bit of background on the car, as the car was my first car, I got it for free. The transmission is bad. It's ruined. Honestly, it's probably my fault. Probably drove it too hard, tore the transmission up. The car does runs good and fine. In fact, the oil's still good in it. I just changed it before the car decided to die on me, and I do plan to fix this car someday. Don't know when, but I do plan to fix it someday. It's got a ripple on the door from where it was sideswiped. You can see right there. You can see right there where it's been sideswiped. It has a dent in the trunk. All the clear coat's coming off of it. This car has definitely seen better days. I plan to restore it. Definitely seen better days. It's got a crack in the bumper from where I went off the road. I'll get more into that later. That goes along with the rim. This right here, as you can see, I hit that by accident with a rock when I was cutting the grass and busted it, so we replaced it poorly, mind you, with some plexiglass. All the little rubber seals have done shrunk because they sit in the sun. I need to start it up, put some air in the tires, hose it down with a water hose. I rear-ended somebody. That was my fault. A while ago. The most damage it did right there was it just broke my bumper guard. That's a whole story in itself. Basically, the guy jumped out, I asked him what's the damage. I knew it was my fault. I thought my insurance was about to go way up. Jumped out, said it ain't much of nothing, got back in his car and drove off. Hey, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about it at all. It's missing hubcaps. All the clear coat's fallen off of all the protective stuff on the wheels have done came off. But the chrome's still good. As a quick overview of the outside, mechanically, other than the transmission being bad, this car's sound. Oh, the fuel pump's messed up. But now that we've been on the outside of the car, a quick overview of it. Everything on the inside, I'll show you all that. Go ahead and unlock it. It does still have the battery hooked up and everything. As you can see, the interior is a little roached out. It's dirty, but that's because I don't drive it, so I hadn't really cleaned it yet. It's very roached out. Headliner's still good, but a little bit stained. I'll show you that here in a second. As you can see, the seats. This car is in very poor shape. But I don't want to get rid of it. It really belongs in a junkyard, but I don't want to get rid of it because I have a sentimental attachment to this thing. I grew up in this car. So I do plan to restore it. I'll give you some At the very end of the video, I'll tell you how I plan it, what I plan to do all to this car. Don't know when it'll happen, but I will do it eventually. Yeah, you can see right there, that's seen better days. It's dirty, as I said. It is very dirty in here. I need to clean it out. The plastic's still good. Dash is rolling up. Let me show you the back seat. The back seat's cleaner. You can see the door card right there is not terrible. And these cars right here, they used faux simulated African redwood. Yeah, excuse me, simulated African redwood. So you didn't even get real wood. Seats, they're somewhat soft, but they've done started to get hard over the years. As you can tell, this car, like I said, is in rough shape. But it did run and drive. It still runs, it just does not drive no more. Did have ashtrays in the rear, because you were supposed to get chauffeured in this car. Yeah, I doubt that ever happened. And I make fun of this car, sure, but I love this thing to death, and it's a pretty car. It really is. It is a very pretty car. I love the way these things look, and restored and in good shape. Beautiful, beautiful cars. In my opinion, they're the best looking ones of the 90s. And they're the last, other than the Fleetwood, because the Fleetwood's a really pretty car too. They are the last DeVille, last actual big body DeVille. Because they've got the tail fins on them, and this and the Fleetwood. This one actually was the last one. The DeVilles were the last cars to have tail fins, because the Fleetwood ended with the, I think it was A-body, was what that one is, the Caprice. The one that the Caprice and all that sat on was A-body, body on frame, LT car. But they had tail fins as well, but this one lasted longer than that. This car right here lasted longer than that, so this was the last great American, one of the last American body cars, like that Chevy built. Big body American true Cadillacs. Now, does that mean it's a good car? They're good cars, sure, but they're not the best thing out there in the 90s. You buy one of these, you buy one because you like the way it looks. Plain and simple. That's the reason you buy one, or because your grandpa or grandma had one. But that's enough talking about the car. Now I'll show you how many miles, and this car might very well have the most miles on it than any other DeVille in the country. Because I could be wrong about that. But from what little research I did a while back ago on this car, because I do know quite a bit about this one. Oh, it's getting blurry. I couldn't ever find any car for sale with this miles on it. I know that sounds like I'm bragging. I'm really not. The closest one I could find was 220,000 miles on it. This one, 256,419 miles. And you can see before it got parked, I drove it 356.2 of those miles. It hasn't been started in a little bit, so. As I'm sure you can hear that, I do have a aftermarket Flowmaster on it, because again, this was my car in high school. That really wasn't that far long ago. And it sounds really good. But, you know, it doesn't sound like a Cadillac. I'll go around to the back, but of course it won't be revving. Fully digital dash, everything on this works. I replaced the radio that was in this car, because the original radio got removed, and as a placeholder, because it did used to have an aftermarket radio in it, but when that got changed, we bought a Tahoe to replace this thing. That got taken out. This car sat for a while, because I forget what was wrong with it, but something was wrong with it. We fixed that, and it sat for like 2 years. Well, as a placeholder, it had the radio out of the Tahoe in it that we changed out with the aftermarket Kenwood. I got a hold of the car, and then I got rid of the Tahoe radio and changed it out with a Kenwood Echelon. Oh, this car does still have the owner's manual, or Cadillac DeVille 1994 owner's literature. Sorry for the shaky camera, by the way. I have a phone, my hands are starting to shake a little. I don't know why they do that. This car had no AC, so drive around in the summer and be driving around like so. Have all the windows rolled down. Automatic. It has an automatic power window. All the locks do work. All the windows work. Well, the rears don't. I can't roll them back up. Yeah, this car is a piece of garbage. I ain't gonna lie. It is a piece of trash. Does have mirrors. You're gonna see myself for a second. Hello, how's it going? Again, sorry for the shaky cam. I'm doing this with one hand, and all the lights work. Wipers work. Can't hold any wiper fluid though because it leaks. And we had a snowstorm here one day. My dumb self, I go to be like, oh, I'll push the snow off with my wipers. I didn't realize that I wasn't thinking about it, and it broke the motor. It does not have any locks. I forgot to say that. That's one of the mechanical issues with this car. We disabled those. Oh, it's low on brake fluid. It leaks a little brake fluid, leaks a little oil, but it did that from the factory. That's a design flaw in the 4.9, because this, let me pop the hood and show you, is not a North Star. This is a 1994 base sedan. Get that window rolled down. Don't want to. 94 base sedan with the 4.9 liter V8 making 200 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque to the front wheels, because this is a front-wheel drive 4-speed hydromatic transmission. It's got cobwebs starting to get made on it. I wanted to replace that with a cold air intake. Heard those were a bunch of garbage. Got the heater, jury rig. Got a new one of the headliners for whatever you call that for it, from a junkyard. This car, a bunch of stuff been replaced, a bunch of stuff's new. But that doesn't change the fact that the transmission's dead. We'll fix it eventually, but don't know when. Have to have the money. Working on that green behemoth right there right now. And I got another car, that little Buick over there, that white car, white sports looking car. As you can hear it, it rumbles like an old American V8 should. Even though it's a Cadillac, people would probably be like, oh no, it's a Cadillac, you can't make a Cadillac sound like that, Cadillac shouldn't sound like that. Well, yeah, I don't care. I got a quiet car. And it's just loud. It's just good at making noise. This car is not fast. 0 to 60 time, and this particular one, I timed it, but I could have been off, was 10 seconds. When it was running, and driving, I timed it at 10 seconds, but that could be wrong, it could be off. I used the timer on the car. And they would run a quarter of a mile in about 15, 16. Slow as molasses. The North Star was faster. Had a slower 0 to 60, but would run the quarter of a mile at 14. And would actually give some of the muscle cars of this era a run for its money. Now, sadly, the North Star is a garbage motor, unless it's in a 2006 and above. But they, trash motor. Stay far away from them unless you just have to have a North Star 90s Cadillac. Which I don't really know why you'd want that. Truthfully, unless you just have to have a Cadillac. I love Cadillacs, don't get me wrong, I'm a Cadillac guy. But if you're gonna buy a 90s car, these cars are so cheap. Don't buy a don't buy a Cadillac. Don't buy a 90s luxury Cadillac. Don't buy a Lincoln. Get a Lincoln. They're so much cool. They're way faster. They have so much more cool factor, even though they're really not. You don't think cool, but get a Lincoln if you want a luxury car. Now, the Cadillacs, yeah, they're really cool cars. I love these things. Don't get me wrong, I love this car. But it's just, it's GM. That's your problem. Good manufacturer, don't get me wrong, love Cadillacs, but if you're buying one just to drive it, I would not recommend buying a Cadillac. They ride, this thing's right, it's amazing. Struts are half shot, but it rides like a cloud still. It rides like new. It rides better than half the cars in our yard. But anyway, this is just a list of everything that was, let me turn it off. List of everything that was wrong with my DeVille, 1994 DeVille. I thought it'd be fun to do a video of it, partially because I have nothing else to film today. But, that's just a short video, or a video of, I gotta roll up the window, I'll do that after I get done, of my 1994 DeVille. Also, it's a little windy, I'm sorry about that. I wanted to thank everybody who's subscribed and watches my videos. I'm gonna start thanking you at the beginning of the videos, so I don't know why I didn't start with that, I apologize. But thank you for watching, thank you for supporting, and if you want to help this channel, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Tell me what you think of these old DeVilles. That really helps too, that boosts things. And like the video. Also share it. If you want to help me, that's the biggest way you can do it. Share, spread the video around, like it, and subscribe and comment. Biggest way to help me. If you want to help grow this channel. But other than that, thank you for watching. And have a good one. See you next time.